My sister anonymously reported false ethics violations that got me dismissed from my surgical residency. Then her child was born with a heart defect only the pediatric cardiac surgeon I became could repair. I was in the operating room assisting Dr. Kimberly Rao on a coronary bypass when my pager went off with a 911 code from the program director's office. Dr. Rao glanced at me and nodded toward the door. I scrubbed out and practically ran to Dr. Leonard Fisher's office, my mind racing through possibilities. A family emergency, a patient complication from yesterday's surgery, anything except what was actually waiting for me. Fisher sat behind his desk with two people I'd never seen before, a man and woman in business attire with briefcases. He gestured to the empty chair. His face was granite. Dr. Olivia Brennan, this is Margaret Howe and Thomas Kirkland from the hospital's Ethics Compliance Division. We've received a formal complaint regarding your conduct with patients. My stomach dropped. What kind of complaint? Margaret opened a folder and slid several documents across the desk. An anonymous report was filed 3 days ago detailing multiple instances of alleged patient mistreatment, falsification of medical records, and inappropriate boundary violations with patients under your care. The complaints span the last 6 months of your residency. I stared at the documents, my hands shaking as I read the allegations. Patient A reported, I'd dismissed her pain concerns and altered her chart to hide a medication error. Patient B claimed I'd made inappropriate comments about her weight during examination. Patient C alleged I'd been intoxicated while on call. Patient D said I'd violated privacy by discussing his case with unauthorized personnel. None of it was true. Not a single word. This is completely fabricated, I said. I've never done any of these things. Who made this complaint? Thomas spoke for the first time. The report was anonymous, submitted through our confidential ethics hotline. However, it included specific patient names, dates, and chart numbers. We're obligated to investigate thoroughly. Fisher leaned forward. Dr. Brennan, you're suspended from all clinical duties effective immediately pending the outcome of this investigation. You'll surrender your hospital ID and pager. You're not to contact any patients or staff involved in this matter. I felt the room tilting. You're suspending me without even investigating whether these allegations are true? I have rights. I can explain every single one of these cases. Margaret's expression was sympathetic but firm. The suspension is standard protocol for ethics violations of this severity. The investigation will take approximately 4 to 6 weeks. If the allegations are substantiated, your residency will be terminated and the matter will be referred to the state medical board. If they're not substantiated, you'll be reinstated with full back pay. I wanted to scream that this was insane, that someone was lying, that my entire career was being destroyed based on anonymous accusations. But I also knew hospital politics. Once you were accused, the stain never fully disappeared. Even if cleared, I'd be the resident who'd been investigated for ethics violations. Other residents would whisper. Attendings would watch me differently. My reputation was already damaged beyond repair. I handed over my ID and pager and walked out of Fisher's office in a daze. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't get my locker open. I finally managed to grab my bag and left through the back exit, not wanting to face anyone who might ask why I was leaving in the middle of a shift. I sat in my car in the parking garage and called my parents. My mother answered on the second ring. I told her everything, my voice breaking as I described the allegations. She was silent for a long moment. Olivia, are any of these things true? The question hit me harder than Fisher's suspension. My own mother was asking if I'd abused patients. No, Mom, none of it happened. Someone fabricated this entire thing. I don't know who or why, but I would never hurt a patient. You know me, she sighed. I know you're under a lot of stress. Residency is difficult. Maybe you made mistakes you don't remember clearly. Maybe you need to take some time off. I hung up. My mother didn't believe me. My own mother thought I was capable of falsifying records and mistreating patients. I drove home to the apartment I shared with my roommate, another resident who worked different hours. I sat on my couch and stared at the wall until it got dark outside. My phone buzzed with a text from my older sister, Natalie. Heard you got suspended. What did you do? Not what happened or are you okay, but what did you do? My sister, who'd gone to law school and was now a successful corporate attorney, had already decided I was guilty. I didn't respond. Over the next 4 weeks, the investigation consumed my life. I met with Margaret and Thomas 6 times, each meeting more degrading than the last. They asked me to walk through my typical day, describe my relationships with attending physicians, explain my documentation practices, detail any conflicts with staff or patients. They interviewed the patients named in the complaint. And that's when things took a turn I never expected. To see the full story, click the link below or go on my channel.